All right, this is being recorded, so should we do
Go ahead and,
order and, back to, did you go back to square one? You just,
Yeah.
how far back?
You tell me what you need, go.
go ahead and go back to square one and, we'll do the vote to adopt the agenda.
Okay.
And then, Tony, you can give like a short, we can do a very short rendition of, what we need to consider with this rule readoption, and then we'll be back at the point we were at.
Okay, I'm going to, call a vote to adopt the, agenda as is.
Second.
A second.
And we'll do a roll call since you have to.
Yeah, Byron Miller. Jim or James, sorry, Marty.
Here.
All right, Mark Steinhoff.
Here.
Adam Markey.
Not on the commission.
And then Luciano,
Here.
Ray.
Here.
Oh, we're doing roll call. Yeah,
All right.
Just, who's here?
Looks like, their agenda is adopted by unanimous vote.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
so I'm gonna start and give
Let's do.
give a very brief recap of why we're here. Your rules are up for readoption.
Okay.
I'm gonna share those with you. Can everybody see that? Yep, rules are up. Okay. So these are the rules of the commission. Standards Commission. They are found in Title 620, Occupational Safety Standards Commission. There's 1, 2, 3 rules. And I have reviewed these. I am just a third party voice here, making a recommendation to you, the board. So you need to consult with council and discuss it among yourselves as to the actions that you take. But upon further review of your readoption and your rules that you have, I am recommending that you let Rule 1 expire. And Rule 2 is already repealed, and I recommend that you readopt Rule 3. And the reasoning for that is Rule 1 are all of these rules, there's 32 sections of them, were all needed back when in the 70s, when the state plan was being founded. For Indiana OSHA to enforce anything, we had to adopt what was being adopted by the federal OSHA. As you can see here, date for this first one was back in 1972. And none of these in this section 32 have changed in the 70s since they were first adopted. But in 1994, a statute was added to the IOSSC Act, section 16.2 of 22.8.1 in the code that says enforcement standards, alternate standards, statement of enforceable standards. And in subsection A, it states that the United States Occupational Safety and Health Administration OSHA standard is lawfully adopted by OSHA under federal law may be enforced by the department without any further action by the commission. So in 1994, that gave IOSHA the authority to enforce anything that had been adopted by federal OSHA, meaning that we no longer had to adopt anything. And everything that we previously adopted here, it's not that we wouldn't continue to enforce it, but we won't enforce it under this authority. We no longer needed this rule for the authority to enforce, and it kept us back with rules that were the way they were in the 70s, not current. So with the 1994 statute, anything that gets updated is current, we can enforce it, and all of these old adoptions are no longer needed. So that's my recommendation, to let it expire, let that rule expire, and then into Rule 3. I'll scroll down to it real quick. 3 is here. Get there. Right here. Rule 3 is the procedures governing permanent and temporary variances. So these are all current procedures for variances, which is what you handle. So that's why we need to readopt. I believe you need to readopt. So those are my recommendations. That you guys take a vote on that or have any discussion that you need on the record.
Great, thanks, Tony. Thanks for the clarification for the group, for the commission. As I see it, we have two motions on the table. The two motions for us to vote on would be to, one, let Rule 1 expire as recommended. And then also two, vote on the readoption of Rule 3 as is. And again, we're talking about the 629 procedures governing permanent and temporary variance as this commission states. So do I have a motion to let Rule 1 expire? Motion?
Aye.
Got a second? Let's vote.
A second.
Roll call vote. So
Everyone.
I'm gonna call the names individually.
Right, Mary Miller,
Aye.
James Harding,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Luciano,
Aye.
Great. So said motion was passed. Aye, so you say. Sounds zero. Sounds pretty damn good. I'm learning something now. Well, it took me a couple of years. But, okay, so the second motion we want to vote on as a committee is the readoption of Rule 3 as is. Motion to readopt Rule 3. Make the motion. Second.
Second.
Okay, roll.
Murray.
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Luciano.
Aye.
Okay, motion adopted, so said. 500. 500. So, hey, y'all, thank you so much for getting in this emergency meeting. That's the one thing I wanted, Tony, thanks for catching this. Thank everybody in this room for acting, because this is, I know everybody has tight schedules, and to have this come together that quickly, I'm impressed, man. So, I think that was really great. So thank you all.
We're not going anywhere.
No, we're not going anywhere. So I just want to talk about this one real quick. So, okay.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want.
No. Yeah, no, we're not closing out.
Okay, good deal.
I'm just a passionate guy.
Yeah. All right, so, given that, so by doing nothing with Rule 1, that will let it expire. It's going to expire at the end of this year, so on 1/1 of 26, with no readoption, Rule 1 will expire. Okay, so it'll be gone. It's good. It's hanging in there for the rest of the year. But what we need to push through then for a readoption is for Rule 3. And so if you look at your two documents, the other two documents that are not email, those are the documents that have to be filed with. And guys, sorry, online, I sent them to you by email. If you want to pull up your email, and we're talking about they both say Title 620 Occupational Safety Standards Commission in the top left corner. One says readoption review, and the other one just says LSA document 24-573. Those are the two documents that I'm going to be referring to if you're able to pull those up. So yeah, let's go to the one, these were both part of the new readoption laws that were passed here in the last, last session, I think it was session before, but here the last couple of years. And I actually prepared these on your behalf because of the timing. Okay, so I put in here the commission, in reference to commission. If you look at the readoption review, that was the most complex document. Okay, they have it has 12 Roman numeral sections in it. The first Roman section is statement whether the subject matter is covered by the rule remains carried out by the agency. Again, this is your language. language, right? I mean, I drafted for you. I'm your ghostwriter, so to speak, right? But you guys need to approve this language. So that's kind of what I'm gearing up for your next vote here needs to be, that we agree with this document as written. If you don't like the language, change it. You change it if Adam doesn't like some of the language as your counsel, please, listen to his counsel and take, do it. But I just want you to know it's a proposal, right? Don't want you to think this was done by anybody with authority, but this document will need to be sent, actually, it needs to be sent first to OMB for approval. Okay, so Office of Management and Budget is the OMB, Office of Management and Budget. They have to approve all rulemaking, including readoptions. So these, I didn't send them over to them yet because you guys didn't vote on it and approve it, but they are ready to go, or at least ready to be edited. And then they'll need to be sent over there. And once you have a letter of, they may recommend changes, okay? Sometimes they'll be recommended changes. So you may need to have those changes, take those changes that they recommend, and then they're going to give it with an approval letter to start the readoption process. Okay, and then what would need to be filed with the Indiana Register are both of these documents after being voted on, approved, and finalized, and the language is all finalized from OMB. It would be these two documents in whatever language is ultimately approved by OMB, and their letter of approval. Those will need to get filed, and Adam can help you do that at this point. Like I said, I'm just getting the ball rolling, but at that point, those would need to be filed. And then what this is the one pager here that didn't have a heading on it. You look at that one pager, that one is the notice for public comment. Okay, once that gets published, then it has to be posted for 30 days. And then we have to receive, we gave Cherokee's email information on here. Those little, Cherokee is your administrative support. We'll receive those. Adam, we could put you in there if you wanted to, but like I said, that's kind of fluid right now. But I put in Cherokee because she would be the administrative support. She can receive those. If you have public comments, then there's things that Adam can inform you that they have to be addressed in a certain manner. If you have no public comments, then it's ready for a final readoption. And once that final readoption is filed with the register, then 30 days later it becomes effective. So if you notice, there's two 30-day wait time periods, the 30-day public notice time period and a 30-day once you file it until it's effective. So there's 60 days. Okay, we're trying to get to the end of the year. We need this to be effective by December 31, right? So there's 60 days, and we have what, about 90 and a handful here, another 15, so say 105 days left. 60 of them is just in waiting. That's not waiting for anybody to look at it, review it, approve it, for the register to post it or whatever. So that's the time crunch here. This activity that we're doing here was all supposed to have been done prior to September 2nd. Again, ball got dropped. Okay, we're not going to look back at that and what happened, why, whatever. That's kind of behind us. We understand that it's not going to happen again. But anyway, so that's what's happened. If all got dropped, this should have been done. That's the urgency that we're created here. That's why I've got the ball rolling. That's why you need to vote, make decisions, and then like I said, Adam's going to take the ball, and we'll all push this through to get it over the finish line by December 31st, and we will have it readopted Rule 3 at the end of this period. So back to that. Sorry, I kind of stopped. That's big picture with what these documents for, but OMB is going to be most concerned, going back to this big long document here, the readoption review. These are all things that they're going to be concerned about. The first is just a statement. Next one, Rule 2 or 2 is a rationale. I kind of recommend that you guys actually go ahead and take this right now and read it. And then just kind of comment, discuss amongst yourself whether you agree with that language as we go through. Because if there's anything that you don't like, you have questions about, or whatever, it needs to be changed. We don't really have a lot of time for a lot of back and forth here. So I know that's, the one thing we can ignore, and guys, Luciano and Ray, what I did for the guys here, when I reprinted these, I omitted pages 3 through 49. That makes the document huge and unnecessary, and I'll explain that here in a minute. But the language that you really have to approve is only on 3 pages. So don't get scared of the 50 pages. It's really only 3 pages of language that you guys need to approve. So when I say walking through that, it's just this 3 pages. And I will tell you what I did. I'm gonna skip ahead before we back up and start going through this. Section Roman 9, okay, on page 2, bottom page 2, section Roman 9. That's one of those new requirements in the law, that they are requiring us to look at our surrounding states, Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and then 2 other states that were identified by ONB. Don't ask me why, but they did. Idaho and South Dakota. So we had 6 states that we had to look at, and they wanted us to identify if anybody did it more restrictive or less restrictive than what we are. And when I say that, let's focus again. Rule 3, our procedures for variances. That's what we're talking about here. Our procedures for variances, are they more restrictive or less restrictive than any of those other 6 states? So I pulled up all of the authorities for those 6 states variances and cut and paste them into this document. So that's what pages, well, the bottom of page 2, but 3 through 49 are those states. That's why we don't need to look at that unless you want to, or if you think, I looked at them and I don't believe anybody is less restrictive than we are. Everybody's rules were way more complicated about this subject than ours were. So you are free to look at those, and I can pull them up here. I could probably find them and show them on the screen if anybody wants to look at them. You've got them in the full document, which I didn't copy for you, but you have them. Okay.
You sent it to us, David.
Yeah, I did. So that's what's in there, but it's really just the responses to Roman 1 through Roman 12 that I want you guys to actually read right here amongst yourselves. And somebody can read it for the group, or you can all say, take a second to read it, and then everybody done, whatever. I'm gonna let you do that, Mark.
That's fine.
I just wanted to present this document to you, let you know, I think we need to agree on this language. So read through it, however you want to choose to have a discussion on it. But at the end of the day, again, probably adopt whether you think this is a good document to submit to OMB and then to the register on your behalf.
Okay, Adam, have you had a chance to read through this?
Yes.
So you've read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the commission, everybody, I don't know if you've had a chance, because like I said, Tony sent this out and he had all the pages, but he did make note of which pages were the important ones. We can take a minute to read this if you feel comfortable about it. If you have questions about what you pre-read, we can answer those questions here. Or, and then we can I'll make a motion then to adopt as is in conjunction with no questions, and then also too with Adam feeling comfortable with this document for our commission.
I would also ask, do you want to go ahead and give your staff the ability to make any other edits to this document that may be necessary in response to OMB's suggested changes? Since we're going ahead and voting on this draft now, that, it might be good to clarify that, because if they come back with more changes, then there's going to be a question of whether we need to come back and vote if you don't.
Yeah, that's up to you. And honestly, I hadn't thought about it. I knew OMB had to review it, but I didn't think if they had substantive changes, would that would that create a need for another meeting? Or could that be done via email approval, of everybody reviewing it and weighing in? That's your call.
Yeah, I would actually say, having them review the whole regulatory analysis is even probably above and beyond what's done often, because with a lot of other approving authorities, the regulatory analysis is kind of done by staff pursuant to like the board's overall goal of, hey, we want to pursue this policy. So we're going a little bit above and beyond, but since we're having a vote on this document today, review it all, make sure that they like everything that's in it. If you want to go ahead and note, whoever makes the motion, if you want to go ahead and just say you want staff to make any other changes that are needed in response to Form B, then that'll help the process. Even though
You're
comfortable.
pre-approving, yes. So today you'd be pre-approving any changes that OMB's going to.
That's what I had, just kind of noted down.
And I will tell you this, I don't know what to expect, but I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating that OMB may not like that I cut and pasted, almost 50 pages of other states' rules into this document. They asked that they be reviewed. So I thought, well, if they want the review, I'm gonna give them the results, but they may not like that and they may want them put somewhere else or maybe not included, just just the summary statement. And then they say it's gonna be too junky to publish 50 pages or whatever. So I'm just anticipating they may come back and say, get that out of there, just a statement that you did it is sufficient or whatever. So that's already one that I'm already anticipating they may come back and say. But again, if you guys vote that whatever recommendation they make is good with you, then then it could just be done and submitted without a meeting, vote, or discussion.
Well, if you good, you're all right.
No, I think
I mean, you guys good. I mean, I'm gonna give everybody time.
we will probably need a meeting later in the year for them to do the adoption of the final rule. Once we've gone through this process, they will have to vote again. Or do we not need another vote as long as there's no
I was
change?
gonna say, I think it's as long as there's no comments, public comments. that
Oh, that's it. So,
Any changes, and then it really should be like, hey, no comments, and then just has to be filed at that time. So yeah, I guess you could give the authority, they could give the authority now for it if no public comments to just file it as it was presented and filed initially, just the initial draft is sent to them. It'll just be, it'll be readopted then. But yeah, you could say if there are public comments, then we should have a meeting to discuss those and what to do with that, right? That could.
maybe just make a mental note for yourselves that depending on how the process goes and whether the commission receives any public comments, we may have to fit in another meeting before the end of the year.
And that public comment period, like I said, is well, as soon as we can get this filed and they give the date, it'll be 30 days from that. So say they get this a week from now. If they get this next week, and kind of get it filed out and be the start of the public comment period. So public comment period then would end a month after, next week, or 30 days after next week, whatever. So sometime in October-ish. So, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luciano, you have any questions about the wording or concerns about the wording?
No, I tried to get it summarized and I think from what I read, I'm no attorney, but it all looked pretty good to me.
Okay. Well, Ray, what about you? Got anything?
No, I looked over it last night, and I'm not a lawyer either, but it all looked good to me.
Stay in the holiday, isn't it? But I just got one thing, and just consistency of language, wording. If you look at section 2, at the very bottom, he said, no cause for economic impact to either large or small businesses, and then we go back over to page 2, 5. No economic impact of the rule on small business. Is there a reason we need to list small or large? Can we just say scratch it, just go with businesses?
So there are specific statutory requirements that attach to rulemaking actions, depending on whether those actions specifically affect small businesses.
Okay.
There's also,
That's the reason.
the state has, I think, is it still they've changed the title a couple of times. It used to be small business administrator, then it was ombudsman.
Yeah.
Sometimes if there's a rule that might affect, what small businesses have to do,
Yeah.
then an agency has to seek input or comment from the small business ombudsman. Since you're making a determination that, these rules do not affect small businesses and you're making no change to them,
Yeah.
then that reaching out to the small business ombudsman will not be necessary for this rulemaking. We have to make that determination and call it out, in order to justify later on review of this, why you did not reach out to them.
It's kind of like when OSHA rewrote the crane standard, and they have a small entity, small business entity, and they had different.
And I will give you full disclosure was where that probably really came from.
Yeah.
Is that this document came as an instructional template.
Yeah.
And there was an instruction here that said what's supposed to go here.
Yeah.
That I typed this in and then deleted the instruction.
Yeah.
So if the instruction itself said, make mention of whether there's an impact to large or small business, that's what I put here.
Got it.
And over here in this paragraph, it may have said, check and make sure there's no alternative affecting small business. I
Right.
just mentioned small, so I didn't catch, so that's a good catch.
I'm an HR guy, and I'm all about.
No, I am too. And I-
Verbiage.
Yeah.
Are you okay? I'm okay, okay. I'm good, yes. Okay, so for the group, then what I'm hearing is I'd like to make a motion to agree with how the document is currently written for LSA 24573. And I put actually, so my motion is to accept, the document as is upon review from, Adam, who's our attorney for our commissions. And also to, if, OMB comes back with any changes to allow and to vote to allow, staff, internal staff to make those changes and file as needed. Is that correct, or is that?
Let me throw in one more thing. So I would, you can do it up to you if you want to do each document separately, but they are going to be filed together as a pair. So let's just discuss this document too, and then you can say language of both documents to do it all in one. That's what it's up to you, but I would just, let's not forget this.
That's what I was, yeah, my assumption was it's one document, it's gonna be filed.
So, and this is just the, no, the only one on this one, and I'll point right to it, because see it right in the middle of the page, number one, no, let me tell you. Look at under overview, see the bold letters near the top, overview. That's how, and I'll send you this, Adam, that they said, initially we said we were going to readopt in our notice, it would have been 620 IAC 1. One would have included all three rules. And that's what they said. They said on this document here, specifically just say we're readopting 1-3, which is the variance rule that we want to and then rules to be repealed is still none. And that's by omission, rule 1 is going to expire. That's where that comes into play. That's the reason that's worded. We're just readopting 3, we're repealing none, which would be an affirmative action. But knowing that by wording it this way, rule 1 will expire. Okay, so that's one. And then below that, summary of findings. Again, in the template, it said summarize your findings under readoption. Well, okay, we have 50 pages. Now, I know really, like I said, 3 of them are actual findings, but I kind of punted on that one and just said, because I'm publishing it with it, I said, please see findings published. I don't know if they're OMB might come back and say, no, you need to actually summarize everything in this 3 pages, the Roman 1 through 12. I'm not sure what they're gonna do there, but.
We may actually be able to just make a small change to that part and just take the first paragraph from this document and put it as that summary of findings, because
Okay, okay.
it's the summary of the subject matter is that Roman numeral 1, so that might suffice.
That's fine. I just, like I said, when I read that, I'm like, well,
to hear.
copy paste that underneath summary of findings. Yeah, if you guys want to vote for that, that's good.
Yeah, so
That's what I wanted to bring, that I looked at that and thought, well, they're asking me to summarize something that I'm filing with this and it's going to be published with it. So I'm just going to punt and refer to it. But yeah, Adam's probably got the better way there is at least put something a little more substantive, which is that initial description.
That's fine.
Hey, you guys want to vote for that change?
Yeah, I'd say for our motion for this commission, in my opinion, our motion is basically to agree upon the path we're taking and on what's currently written. And then in conjunction with Adam's review, based on his representation for this commission, and then, the review from, any review from OMB, and then staff's allowed to change, as needed for this document. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to have, no offense to you guys, I love seeing you. You all, that's outside here. And there's no need for a meeting when I'm a pretty much turn to Adam anyways and ask him. So, you good with that?
Yeah, I think what we want to do is set this up as much as possible, where if anything, you only have to have one more meeting
I agree.
in order to fully deal with it.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so my motion's made. Do I have a second on the motion? Second.
Do I need to do another roll
Roll
call?
call. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, it was looking at me. Okay, Murray.
Aye.
James.
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Luciano. It looked like a no.
Did you? Yeah.
Yep.
Luciano, you're muted if you didn't say anything.
Sorry, they're doing construction next door.
There you go.
So said, motion passed.
I think that does it. So again, like I said, now that those are passed and approved, I'm gonna get these to Adam along with Heather's email, a recommendation about how to do that on this document. And then, yeah, I'm gonna let him take it from here. Like I said, it'll be filed with, they'll be sending to OMB, get approval.
That's a good question. Who's gonna be filing it? Is you filing it? Because you mentioned we need to file it. Okay, who's we?
Yeah, well, it'll either be Adam or Cherokee. Cherokee's still your administrative support from the agency. Like I said, I kind of wanted to present, but I need to pull out because I'm neither your legal
Sure.
advisor nor your administrative support. So I'm kind of here as a.
So you guys got this. Whatever you need from me, let me know.
Let me know what you need, Mark.
Yeah.
and I'll do it.
Perfect. That's cool. That's cool.
I'll probably work with you, Cherokee, on the filing, just so, you as the agency have direct notice of everything that's happening with the rule.
Okay,
Okay, so we're gonna get the finalized version of this. Adam's gonna get the finalized version, feel comfortable with it, and then we're going to file it. Wait for OMB to come back on it. Any changes or requests after the public gets to view it, if there is. And then if OMB accepts or changes, Adam will do the changes or whatever, and we accept as a commission, we accept those changes based on his.
That will get published to the Indiana Register.
Sure.
Then as soon as it does that, and that's the notice of the comment period. So then it's wait 30 days.
Okay.
Right, so we wait, TikTok 30 days, that's actually the end of this one page. It says all comments must be postmarked or timestamped not later than, and that's where OMB Indiana Register will put that date in there because that's dependent on when they receive it and get it published. There's 30 days for publishing, but as soon as we have that date on this document that's published, that'll be our trigger. As soon as that date hits, we look and see, did we have public comments? If so, like I said, we address those,
And
right?
I believe we'll still also have to do like an in-person public comment too, but I don't think, I'll confer with some folks, but I don't think we have to have the commission themselves do that. I think we can do that through the agency.
Right.
And then they can review whether anything was received through public comment or not. If you receive public comments, then this becomes a little more
Yes.
involved, because then we will have to go back and review what the comments are and provide responses.
Yes.
And that'll pull you back in somewhat,
Okay,
so.
all right, so no old new business and then motion to adjourn. Y'all been second all day. Hey, thank y'all. Appreciate you guys on the phone. We'll have a meeting probably in December. I'm gonna try to get something out with Cherokee, just so if we need to have one, we'll have one, and see if there's any new business. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your week.
All right, guys, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good. It's getting better, baby. It's getting better. There, I see what you got. Yeah, man. Back to work. Yeah. Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tony, thank you for everything.
Yes, thank you guys.